Okay, this time what we're going to do is we've got a couple of vertical angle examples, and we're going to solve for x on each problem, and we're going to solve for all of the angles on each problem. So look these over, see if you can set them up on your own, and try to solve them, and then in the next couple minutes I'll show you how I would set it up and solve them and get you the answers. So try these on your own, and then we'll move on. So I'm going to start with the top one, and I've got a fresh slide for that. So I have vertical angles here, 5x plus 7 and 6x minus 13. And one of the things that we've learned is that if you have vertical angles, they're congruent. So that means that this 5x plus 7 is the same as 6x minus 13. So the question is, do we add them up and equal to 90? Do we add them up equal to 180? Or are they equal to each other? And since they're congruent, that means they're equal to each other. So let's set it up. We're going to write 5x plus 7 equals 6x minus 13. Okay, and now we just solve this equation. Minus 5x from both sides. And there's more than one right way to do this for sure. These get canceled out. 6x minus 5x, we get 1x. And then we want to get x by itself, so we'll do plus 13 to both sides to get x by itself, and we get 20 equals x. Okay, so we solve for x. We got the first part done. Now we got to figure out all of the angles. So 5 times 20 plus 7 is this angle, and this one is 6 times 20 minus 13. And we can just plug that in or do it in our head. 5 times 20, that's 100, plus 7 is 107 degrees. And then this one is 120 minus 13, that's also 107. And they should be the same. That's how we solved it, because they are congruent. So solve for all the angles. Well, we got half of them. We got the 107s. But what are these two angles? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to focus on half of it. We'll kind of divide it here. And these two angles, the 5x minus 7 and this missing one, those two have to add up to 180. They're a linear pair. So if this is 107, we got to figure out what's this angle going to be so that they add up to 180. So 180, take away 107, and we get 73 degrees. That's going to give us this one here. And then the nice thing about vertical angles is if we get this as 73, this one is as well. Now we have solved for all of the angles. Okay, so that's the first one. Hopefully you got that one right. Now let's move on to the next one. And it's like the same problem. We got the x, we got the vertical angles, but wait, it's not the same. So hopefully you've tried this one. This one is set up a little bit differently because before we had vertical angles that were right across from each other and these were congruent. But now they're right next to each other, and these are not vertical angles. These are called a linear pair, or they're supplementary angles. So this time, these two angles, they're not equal to each other. We're actually going to add them up. And we're going to add them up and set them equal to some number. Plus 2x plus 2. And when we add these two up, they're going to give us a grand total of 180. They form a line, and a line adds up to 180 degrees. Okay, so now we just do the algebra, and we should get our answer. So 3x plus 2x, we get 5x. And then minus 22 and plus 2, we get minus 20. So we add 20 to both sides, and we get 5x equals 200, and then divide by 5. So we get x is 40. And, you know, on all these answers, we get a number for x. It's not 40 degrees, it's just 40, and then we'll figure out what the degrees are later. So solve for x, done. Solve for all the angles. Let's do that next. So I'll do that in red. This is going to be 3 times 40 minus 22. So 3 times 40, that's 120. 120 minus 22, that's going to give us 98 degrees. So this angle right here is 98 degrees. Okay, this one, on the other hand, is 2 times 40 plus 2. That's going to be 80 plus 2, which is 82 degrees. So this angle here is 82 degrees. And once we have these two done, we've got the rest of them, because the rest are vertical angles and they're going to be congruent. So this one over here is 82 degrees as well, and the one across from the 98 is also going to be 98 degrees. All right, so hopefully that helped. And those are the examples that I have so far for using algebra with the angles.